up, guys? Today we
Nice.
have Ashley Platinum.
Hello.
Platt, actually. Is it Platt or is it Platinum? I thought it was Platinum for a while. I thought
No,
that's
it's actually Platt.
is Platt. Plath or Platt?
Platt. Platt.
Okay.
Like Oliver Platt.
Yes. All of
Yeah.
the Three Musketeer.
Right?
uh,
Yeah, there's a chance
so,
we might be related. I highly doubt it, but you never know. Pretty much.
cool. I wonder you should maybe do. Have you done the 23andMe or the DNA test? You should try it.
Well,
I did the DNA test, and so I've always been told, like, because my mother doesn't look, she doesn't look very Asian. A lot of Thai people that don't look very Asian, and that could be many reasons between, like, there was
mhm,
Portuguese influence for a while. A lot of Indians have
mhm.
migrated, and we were very close to India. Like we weren't conquered, So there,
Yeah.
for the most part, we shouldn't have lots of European blood in us until about maybe the turn of the 19th century, I believe.
Yeah.
So there's not a long history of European influence in Thailand, but I never knew. There's some features of my nose is I have a very like straight nose, and a lot of Asian people have like more of a their noses don't have the bridge. The bridge is like a big deal. Asian culture is kind of weird. Like they're Western things that Asians look at that they want that
Yeah.
a white person wouldn't even think of. Your eyes, like
Mhm.
Asians prefer not to have like the blinds that kind of fall, but like more.
Oh,
There's a fold. There's a very tiny fold in your eye. You have it. I have it. But some Asians don't have that. It looks like a curve. Looks like that.
wow.
So they have surgeries for that.
Yeah.
But there are all these like tiny details in Asian faces that no person would notice, but an Asian would. So I was always told, like, oh, you might have some Indian in your blood, or you might have some Portuguese, because I'm a bit hairier than most Thai people, so that was like kind of weird.
Yeah.
Um,
You're like, what am I?
yeah, no, yeah, I thought, I mean, from what I could trace, me, I know my grandmother was, I think, half Chinese.
Hmm.
So if I did the math, I think I'm a 16th, I believe, um, Chinese. So I knew that. I mean, I'm not surprised that there's Asian in me. But then when I did the DNA test, like it was basically, I thought there would be like maybe like a one small percentage of like of European descent or Indian, But no, I'm pure. I'm pure. Like I have my family has recently migrated to Western culture within since the 70s.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm very much first generation. So here in America, it's funny to be like genetic purity. People are like, because
Yeah.
in the future, none of us are going to be genetically pure at all. But just
Yeah. I'm absolutely not.
yeah, and yeah,
I'm
there's so
everything.
many people that are a product of that now, which is a
Mhm.
beautiful thing, because especially living here in America, we have such a diverse culture, mixing, all these. I have a friend who's half Arabic and then half Mexican, and she looks beautiful, like very very exotic, like I have a friend who's half black, half Filipino, and like all these different kind of diverse mixes. Always cool to see.
Yeah.
But no, I took the test, and I'm not saying that I was disappointed. I just wish I thought, because all my friends would get like really cool, like, oh, I'm part this, I'm part this, like all these cool diverse little, and then like for me it's like, oh, you're just Southeast Asian.
Yeah. You're just one thing.
Yeah, but I love those other cultures. I get to experience the cultures. I
Yeah.
just part of me was a little upset that, like, oh, okay, it's like finding out that like you can only have one flavor of ice cream. Like
Aw,
everybody
you're just
is like,
one.
but it's a good flavor of ice cream, let me tell you.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I feel like I would be multiple things.
yeah,
I've always
right.
wanted to do that, and I think I'm gonna try it. Which one did you do? 23andMe or?
Ancestry.com,
Oh,
and they're
okay.
cool because they keep. But okay, so if you're really worried about like government watching you and stuff, they keep record of your genetics. Just only you find relatives and stuff. So then I did find some people that are related to me. I never reached out to many of them. My youngest cousin, she saw that I was on there, and then she like we opened up both our files, and we saw a big, which is really cool. It's very comforting to see, like,
Yeah.
oh wow, these people we share genes.
Yeah.
At the same time, I get worried about like the cousin favor. Like how
Yeah.
far does a cousin favor go?
Like, I'm gonna need you to bury this body for me. We're related.
Like,
It's fine.
look, Stu from Australia. I don't even.
Right?
I
I
just
don't
met
think
you.
this is accurate.
Um,
That's funny. Yeah, the DNA test that I did.
Because yours is
So
paternal, right? It's just a paternal
yeah,
test. They weren't like,
yeah,
looks like you were a half Cherokee. Like,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I am actually very Cherokee
Oh, are you? I
Indian
was like, yeah, okay.
on my mom's side.
Nice.
So my mom is very Native American.
Okay.
She has a lot of the features too, but we've just never done the 23andMe, which I've always been interested in doing, and I think I'm going to do
You
it.
should. Yeah, you have
Yeah,
very diverse genes. So it'd be cool to find out, you know. Um,
yeah, right. And it's really interesting because I think about the testing that they have for COVID now, and they have to like stick this thing up your nose. I got tested for it last week. It was awful.
yeah.
So they basically stick this thing up your nose, and then instead of like just sticking it up and twisting it, they go back like
Oh, they
into
go
your
back more.
eyeball. Yeah.
Oh.
So once my eye started watering, then he started counting,
Oh.
and I was like, oh, it was just
Yeah,
awful.
yeah.
I don't recommend it to anybody. But I had this DNA test done, right? And they sent me a Q-tip in the mail
Mhm.
that you basically just wipe your cheeks
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
with it, and you put it back in the bag and you send it back, and then they give you your test results. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why can't they do, if they can see who your family lineage is
Uh,
by scraping some things in your mouth, they should be able to see if you have COVID by scraping some things in your mouth. I
yeah,
would so.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I'm not. You know, what, I think one of these interviews, I'm going to get a medical professional on. We can talk about this stuff.
That is
Um,
a great idea.
I took the test, and I did the nose thing. I didn't go that far back, but like it's just a little tickle. I
Did you
didn't
do it
mind.
yourself or did they?
Yeah, no, because I had so I pulled up, and then the lady came out, and this is your test, read the instructions. If you have trouble, just flag me, and I'll help you out. Okay, cool. So I looked at it. You had to open the thing, then it had a little swab, and then you put the swab in, and you put it in the wet container, and then you give it to the girl and or person or maybe
Yeah.
RN at the place, and then they it takes about what 2-3 days, and I get the results, and I was
Mhm.
okay. It tickled a little bit, but it didn't irritate. But I imagine going further back would irritate.
Yeah,
Um,
and I didn't do it myself.
oh, okay.
They did it for
Yeah, I
me.
would hate to do that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like they didn't just stick it up my nose, they stuck it up and then back.
Ugh.
Like it felt like it was touching inside of my eyeball.
Yeah,
And
well,
then
it
like
probably
once
was.
my it was, yeah. And so once
That's so
my eyes
funny.
started watering, then he started twisting and counting. I was like, this
Oh
is
no.
very like
Oh no.
cruel and unusual punishment. It was awful. And I was
I
negative, so thank
Yeah,
God.
oh, no, yeah. You look
Yeah,
good. You-
yeah,
you're not like I've seen people with COVID. They don't look happy.
yeah.
Um, I don't do a lot, but I do whenever I feel I have cloggage or when I eat seasonal allergies. I probably do it tonight. I do the neti pot. So like
Ooh,
which at first was like a little weird, but then after doing it a few times and cleaning out it's great. Like I breathe better, I sleep better. Like I don't snore when I
really?
clear it. So that's so I have a little bit of a resistance to like oh a little bit. If you go farther back, then yeah, I'll probably like choke or whatever. But I can take a little bit of irritation in my nose because I
So
do.
how does that work? So you basically stick hot water up your nose
It's
or
not
what?
hot, like maybe like warm, like comfortable water, like skin comfortable. Not really they'll burn you because I've had a little hotter than it should have been, and it kind of hurt. But yeah, just like a good warm, lukewarm level of water, body temperature. That makes more sense. And then you put like a saline solution in there, which is like a salt kind of solution that you mix with the water. But I don't use faucet water. I use bottled water because that's just completely cleared and filtered. So I heat it up a little bit to get to the temperature I like,
Mhm.
and then I put it in the pot, and then you tilt it, and the water pressure flows through your nasal canal and through the other one, and then
Oh,
it just.
no.
I know.
Awesome.
It's very daunting at first, but
Yeah,
then
that
when
sounds
you
painful.
when you clear it all out, when you just
Uh-huh.
and like you just
Oh,
I love having a clean nasal canal. It's
yeah.
because I breathe better, and like there's always residual mucus and snot that you just have throughout the day. So these are great things to talk to a girl about.
Yeah.
But no, that's why I like to have a really I like to have it very clean and very breathable. I didn't know I snored until like later in my life, or maybe I picked up snoring because I don't think I snored when I was younger. But then you sleep by yourself, so And then no girls
How
ever.
did you find out? Did you record yourself sleeping or?
Um, I think it was my roommate, and then I was like, "Oh shit! Why I never snored before. I never had this problem." Because I've had girlfriends, and like no one's ever complained, or maybe they're just very nice. But like, I
Right? They're
imagine,
just not telling you that you're snoring. That's
maybe they're
extremely
just
loud.
super nice, but or it's bearable. I should find out. But
Right?
I don't think I've ever had like I don't think I've ever had like a snoring until I got older. Because I think it's an older thing, or I know smokers. I know for smokers it's very common. Like when I have really bad sinus because of allergies, where I just can't
Yeah.
breathe. I drives you crazy because I hate breathing through my mouth because my breath
Oh.
gets bad.
That's kind of what happened to me and why I wound up going to get tested for COVID because I was having really bad sinuses
Okay.
and I thought I was getting a cold. I didn't have anything wrong with my throat or body aches or fever or anything. I just had really bad sinuses and my nose was really runny. And I'm like, oh my gosh, am I getting a cold?
Yeah.
Is this corona?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I serve at a restaurant. So I'm constantly being exposed to different people, even
Yeah.
though I'm wearing a mask and washing my hands. You
There's
just
just
never
so
know.
much.
So yeah. And so once I started having my allergies, but I know that it's from, the wind and the change in weather and now
Yeah.
that it's getting cold. So I started having that and I'm like, oh my God, I've got the Rona. I got to go get tested. And so I
Yeah.
got the rapid testing and luckily it was negative, but
Right.
it's the same thing. It's from allergies and having sinus issues and it
Yeah.
wound up going away the next day. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think for everybody like the slightest like
anything
it's
now,
like I better go
anything
check.
really like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
I'm glad you're taking it serious. I know you live with a few people that I know very closely, and plus your daughter. So you're taking
Yeah.
those precautions, and much respect for doing that.
Yeah.
Let's just hope there's a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Then we're fucked. Because
Right.
if this was the a pretest for the zombie apocalypse, yeah, I'm joining Team Zombie.
Well, luckily I have a lot of toilet paper at home right now, so
That's
I
good.
think I'm good for like a
Everyone
couple,
knows zombies are afraid of toilet paper. That's the
right? Obviously. We learned
that's
that at the beginning
we
of
learned that
2020.
through the pandemic. This is the first this is really the first real pandemic not only America's faced but the world. Like swine flu, SARS, bird flu. That was all away from us. Like we didn't. It
Yeah.
was like it was an afterthought. Like oh maybe we're prepared, but like this one landed hit hard. Like lives
Scary.
were lost, not amongst us,
Yeah.
the entire world. When people say that the flu is more common and kills more people, it's not as it is not as contagious as COVID at the rapid rate that it is. And at the time, people are studying and finding out what is it? We're touching it. It's in the air. Here's the main thing to take away: wash your hands constantly after touching any surface. Hand sanitizer, like your hands, because you're touching so many things and then you're eating things and putting things in your mouth. When it gets in your mouth or into your nasal, into your nose, and you breathe it in, that's where it's coming in from. Like this is the area that it's entering. So we know his access area, so cover it up. That's clearly what you have to do. Wash your hands, just adopt a cleaner um, mentality,
I feel
just
like
like
it's
when
just common sense.
it's come, yeah.
And a lot of
Uh,
people clearly were not following common sense.
here's the worst part. It's one thing to to have these rules, but that before we had Instagram, before we had the internet, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know if my friends are being cavalier or being cautious, and like now I have Instagram, be like, oh look this motherfucker, here he is in a big party, or here she is out with all her friends. I'm like, why I'm in here? I've been in PJs for the last like 7 months, building Legos, and you're out partying. Go fuck yourself, like it frustrates me, and that's why I don't want to say that because like people are free to live how they want to live, but like I feel like I can't go back to work. I can't get out until other people start coming in and stop spreading things, And like there was a wedding that an entire town had to shut down because this wedding took place. I want to see what Disney does with the weddings post COVID because I feel like Disney is the only one that I trust that will be like, policing and like, hey, make sure your masks are on, because like they take zero chance, like I think Knott's and Disneyland are doing. I'm gonna probably go to downtown next week because they just opened up the New Buena Vista Street. So you technically get back in the park. But the precautions that Disneyland and Knott's have taken throughout this entire COVID crisis has been amazing and phenomenal. Like
Oh
cleaning
yeah,
services, having washing
absolutely.
stations. So I know they want to open up, and like I'd love for them to open up because I do think Disney can do it. I think Disney could do it safely, but at the same time, I don't think inviting those crowds openly during this time is very wise because we're
No.
right now.
Yeah.
So I understand. You want to talk about your experiences serving during COVID and like how the process is of like maintaining safety and what?
Um, well, serving has been interesting during COVID. It's just constantly changing.
Yeah,
I feel like that's everything though. Whether it's serving, DJing, anything really, like everything is constantly changing. Um, so initially we moved to wearing masks and gloves.
Mhm.
Then we completely shut down. So then we shut down, we reopened, and we opened outdoors. So then we had outdoor dining, still have to wear masks and gloves, all of that.
Yeah,
Then we reopened again at, I think it was like 25% capacity. So every other table
yeah.
was closed off
Mhm.
for social distancing purposes.
It's outdoor, right?
No, indoors.
Oh, indoor. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Recently, yeah, I heard about that.
yeah. So the past probably, I want to say 2 months or so, it's been um it's been like that where we're open indoors, we're just social distance, which does not make any sense at all, to be honest.
Are there partitions between the tables? That's just
No,
okay.
no, it's just a space.
Yeah.
So as soon as people go to the table, mask comes off.
They're stuck in there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so everybody's still breathing in the same air. I mean, you're socially distanced as far as like if you cough or sneeze, you're not going to hit
Yeah.
the table next to you, but you're all breathing in the same air. And if this is something that's airborne,
It's circulating.
it's circulating through the inside. So it just doesn't, to me, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Let's open some windows, get some natural airflow in and out.
No,
Or like,
no,
um,
no.
when I saw businesses opening and doing like outdoor dining, like that's cool, and they're making like nice little tented light lit areas. It kind of reminded me of Thailand, like these makeshift restaurants on streets, and like I thought that was really cool. And then a lot of restaurants do a great job at that. But at the same time, I've seen things like big tents that are covered with heaters. Like, well, it's
Like
perfect.
that defeats the whole
Yeah.
purpose of being outdoors and like.
And understand you want to
Air.
make money, you want to get the economy back, and you want to go back to work, and you want to lose those beautiful restaurants that we loved for so long. I continue to get to go orders and dine out and stuff. I haven't had a sit down meal at a restaurant in a very long time. Eventually, I'm gonna feel safe enough to do that. But for right now, I just haven't indulged in that.
Well, you'd be surprised how many people are coming out, families, parties of like 20 parties.
No, I'm not surprised.
Large parties, and they're all in the same area. And then, even we have like a back room where you can fit large parties, and then those are all surrounded by tables as well. So everybody's not wearing their mask. They're all eating. So, for me, it's like,
do you think
I understand the mask rule inside, but if you're going to be doing that, like it just defeats the whole purpose of like having to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Once you take that mask off, you're exposed to everything, and all those people around you are exposed. So it's like, okay, you have to wear your mask when you're walking the whole maybe 10, 15 feet to your table, and then you take it off, and then it's like, is it magically going to disappear in that 10 to 15 minutes that you're walking around the restaurant?
Yeah.
That's where it's like,
yeah,
it's just kind of funny in that way.
Are you like a distance from the tables when you speak to them, or like, what do you?
Well, I'm standing like above the table, but there's nothing except for my mask. That's
you wear the face guard too, or just the mask?
No, just a mask.
Okay.
But most of the time, like, when I come after they've already got their food, they're all eating. I have to come back and check
Yeah,
and make
yeah,
sure
yeah,
everything's good. Do they need
yeah,
anything else?
yeah,
And sometimes people are talking while they're chewing and like stuff
yeah,
is, so
yeah,
I'm obviously trying to stay distance,
yeah.
but
But then you want to hear it too.
yeah, exactly.
Or you
And
can't,
then
and that's hard
like
to
they
speak.
can't hear me because my mask is on. And
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah,
trying to talk louder.
yeah, yeah. It's a different world.
It is
And
completely different.
it sucks because I know why people are going out. They love that restaurant experience. That which is also refreshing because like there's been a while in the restaurant industry where like you were like no one's coming out to eat anymore. People can't afford it. They want to come out and pay extra. But now it's like the culture. I guess it's hard because a lot of restaurants are struggling. But the fact that a lot of people want to eat out, it says a lot about people's just the culture of people that love going out and having a dinner,
Yeah. Yeah.
at a nice restaurant. That's not going to change. So that's great for the industry. It just we need to adapt or make better moves to keep you guys safe, to keep the guests safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, I really do think a hard lockdown. While everybody a hard lockdown. No one fucking go out
Yeah. And then
parties.
once that's over, like,
We could go a little
okay,
easier. Yeah,
like
open
no more
businesses.
masks, no more any
Yeah,
of this.
the numbers are down.
Hard shut down and then hard reopen.
Yeah, yeah. I'd love to. I'd love to do that.
You know,
Unfortunately, a lot of people can't afford that. But like I said, if the government comes in and gives or even pauses like mortgages or pauses business contracts, or
everything. Yeah.
the people always argue like oh our economy like look the fact that it's taking place in the entire world and also like no governments no country would ever like put their country through this economic crisis on purpose. So like
Yeah.
well why would you think it's a conspiracy? Why would you think like why would you not take it seriously? Like
Yeah.
no country would ever be like okay we're gonna make this secret virus that is gonna fuck up our economy for like a good
For the
7 months.
world.
Yeah, no, yeah, no. Like, do you think it's a whole world to be like China's like, hey, I got an idea. Like no one, nobody, like it's crazy. It's crazy the conspiracies coming up right now. But
But there are a few places in the world that have done that where they've completely locked down
oh yeah,
and they're opening back up again like normal.
Thailand. Like my cousins,
Yeah.
everything's normal. Like they're going to
Yeah.
weddings. They're like no one's getting sick
Yeah.
anymore. And
Yeah.
because the Thai citizens are very studious. So like they're like if the government says don't do this, yes we won't do that.
Yeah.
It's culture. We because we're so diverse here. We have so many needs. I think what it is like you ruined everyone's convenience.
Yeah.
Now people can't go to the gym. Now
Yeah.
people can't go to Disneyland. Look, I understand like you want to do these things. I do too. But you have to make sacrifices when things are this dire. Look, I'm an empath. If I had any part in taking of someone getting sick or somebody I know got COVID. I don't want that in anybody. I don't want any of that because people complain like oh I can't breathe in the mask. You can't breathe in a respirator either. Like I've seen my father on his deathbed in a respirator. That you remember that because you can't talk, you can't speak, you can't tell the nurse like can you fluff my pillow or like can I call my you can't see your friends. Can't see your family, you have COVID, you're be isolated, you're gonna die alone. So that's why, like, I always try to, I don't want to be super preachy, but wear a mask, social distance. Like, I want to go back to normal. You want to go back to normal? Like, just do this for a little while. Let's make it through.
Yeah.
So we can,
And I think the problem with that is the little while has lasted so long that people just don't believe it now at this point because they're like, okay, well, nobody's listening anyway. So since they're not going to listen, then I'm not going to listen.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the point that it's gotten to now is that it's like, okay, well, other people aren't listening, so why should I listen?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's not until it gets to somebody that you know personally and then they pass away and then it's like, oh shoot, this is real. Like this is a real thing. And it's sad that it has to get to that point, unfortunately.
Yeah. I can name 5 people that I know got it. So like that's pretty close to comfort, like
Yeah.
I have like what maybe 2 friends who are HIV positive, And like I have one friend who has mono. Like that's how rare that's how rare the disease circle is to my life. And but COVID, 5 people I know personally have it.
I know
Had it. I mean, yeah.
15 that have had
Wow,
it. Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
wow.
So people that have died from it, I only know one who was
Yeah.
my sister's, because she's my half sister. Her cousin's husband,
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
he died from it. He had asthma and it hit him super fast.
Yes, people don't get look, if you can handle it, that's great. That doesn't mean the people in your circle that you see, your abuela or your kids, like you don't know their health conditions. You know, like you're
Yeah,
putting them at risk. Even if you
definitely.
are
Yeah,
healthy and working out and you're the body of a bull, you know, that's great. But the people that you're going to spread, that's the spreading part. That's the thing you got to worry about because
yeah,
there are people that sadly, you know, by sake of their life decisions or by the sake of just genetics, they can't deal with it. It's gonna hit them harder, and
yeah,
that's unfair to them that you were like, you know, you gave it to them because you wanted to go to a party. You know, that's why it's so hard to convey that to people until it happens to them. You know, and
yeah.
I'm so sorry that happened to your family because I know he probably had let it by himself. You know, he was because your family can't visit you when you have it.
Hmm.
That crushes me. The fact that when you get COVID, you're alone,
Hmm.
and like I've been around 2 people in their deathbed. You never know how just the presence of people or just the comfort of somebody can do on your last days. I won't know till when it happens. But you know, I'm glad I got to be with my dad on his last days.
Hmm.
I'm glad I got to play his favorite songs. You know,
Hmm.
just have a moment with them.
Hmm.
I got to say goodbye. With COVID, you won't see them until I don't even know if you can see the body or whether you do the body. Do they?
Well, not even that. It's really anything,
Yeah.
any kind of sickness, or even having a baby, anything you're in the hospital for at this time, like you're going to be in there alone, no matter what your sickness is, unfortunately, because of COVID.
Oh, you're
At this,
right. Yeah,
you
because
can't.
yeah.
So my uncle passed away last week,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and
Wow.
he has 3 kids. So my cousins, only 2 of them got to go in there. The other one had to stay outside, and he wound up dying while they were in there. And it wasn't COVID related, and only 2 of them could go in there.
Just because
And so,
the sterility of the environment had to be. Yeah.
yeah, yep. And so, unfortunately, with COVID, it's not just COVID deaths; it's
Anybody.
anybody
Oh man,
anybody
you're right.
that's yeah, it's
That's a
anybody.
whole other level on it. You know,
Yeah,
of inconvenience as a word, but it's affected. It's affected. It's affected. That's how minuscule it's affected
yeah.
the world. You
At this point, it's like it doesn't matter if you have COVID, like COVID, now nobody can go in there because obviously they don't want anybody else to catch it. But now it's affecting like other illnesses and other
Yeah.
sicknesses and, people that have cancer and people that have leukemia, people that
Yeah.
have a number of diseases and a number of things that they're hospitalized for.
Yeah.
Now they can only have
So
2 people
scary.
in at a time, or sometimes even no people because of what they have, like they could seriously be ill and then get COVID on top of that, and then that would kill them. So it's crazy the things that are happening right now with this.
Wear a mask, guys. Wear a mask. Social distance. I can't preach enough for me and Ash. This is somebody who's experienced losing somebody and losing them in person. You know, getting a chance to be there on someone's last day. You don't want to die alone. I mean, you don't want anybody to have to experience that alone.
Wow, that was a fun interview with Ashley. Thanks so much for watching, guys. That is part one of my interview with Ashley Platt, or MC Ash on Instagram. Check out her stuff. She has a channel that she talks about mental health and personal stuff like that. So I'll leave the links down below for her channel. Part two is going to come out later this week, and I have more content and more guests lined up for the next month. I actually filmed this last week, but since then California is in much more of a stricter lockdown order right now, so all restaurants aren't allowing outdoor dining at all, just to go. So most likely, and that affects a lot of people out there. So I want to encourage everyone to help those local businesses and order food, and you can even donate money if you want, if you really support these businesses. Use your own discretion of who you want to support and whatnot. It's really hard times right now. Numbers are up, hospitals are full. So if you can, please social distance. And I know it's been hard and trying, but we have so much more to go, and we need to keep people safe. Hospitals are full, they're dying. A lot of Christmases and holidays are having less family members. I don't want to take part in anyone possibly losing their loved ones. So till further notice, I am not going to be doing any outdoor type vlogs for a while. I'm going to pretty much be staying inside. I was planning on going downtown Disney and even Knott's, but as of right now, that's not in the cards. I'm going to try to do my best part to social distance, which means I'll be doing much more Zoom content in the future, as well as stuff in my studio and doing some more videos at home. I don't want to be part of a culture that encourages people to go out right now when we really shouldn't be going out. And I can make that sacrifice. I'm willing to make that sacrifice. I'm still going to order food and support those businesses and do things like that. But I'm planning not to do any outdoor ventures for a while. Maybe a hike or two, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna try to keep everything here in studio safe and not go out of my way right now. So it's gonna be an indoor holiday this year. But please, social distance, wear your mask, respect others. Find new ways to be innovative from where you are at home. And I know that's not an option for a lot of people. So for everyone who's a first responder, police officers, hospital workers, grocers, you guys are facing this every day. Please be safe. I want nothing more but to have everybody safe during these hard times. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being part of this. And I want to do more stuff. If anybody is interested in joining me for one of these Zoom conversations, I would love to have you. Just send me a DM or contact me. There's so much to talk about, so much to see, and I definitely want to share those stories. But thanks for watching, guys. My name is Katar, and this has been Unplugged. And don't forget, be safe, be kind, be you. Peace.